Hello friends, welcome back to ViralML.com and to the Starting Your Own Business series. We're now at part 7. Wow, it keeps on growing, which is good. In this video, we're going to look at, very simply, creating Google Maps. Basically, they are, remember the series is about creating MVP, a minimum viable products landing pages as quickly as possible in hours, not days or weeks. And some people may need to have some location-based information, and a Google Map is perfect because it's trivial to do, and you can have it focus on any area you want, multiple areas, put pins, put places, all sorts of good stuff. So we're going to follow one demo really briefly, just so to kind of get you started, and then there's plenty of other material out there on the internet to dig deeper. Before I go, and this is kind of what we're going to look at, just kind of a map here with a pin. So this is part of the demo. But before I go start the walkthrough, welcome to the ViralML show. My name is Manuel Amunatigi. I'm your host. Please sign up for my newsletter. It's right here in the middle of the page. You will get early access to my material and deals on my Udemy classes, and also a release about books. This video is going to be at viralml.com under the channels button and web applications, where you'll see all the other videos. There's already 6 of them here. They're done, and they have code and links. This one will have code as well. The link to the code is in the description of the video, as well as you can find the code on viralml.com. And what else? Please, subscribe to the channel, give it some thumbs up. It's always appreciated. If you want to talk to me, I just added a tweet chat box here where you can just kind of tweet. As long as you have a Twitter account and you put the hashtag ViralML, you can tweet me a question and I'll definitely look at it and answer it. So that's the way the best way to communicate with me. Okay, so you will need for this a Google Cloud account. So before, a long time ago, you didn't need anything. There was no need of API keys, nothing. Then they would force you to have an API key. And then you had a special place you could get a JavaScript API key. And now they want you to do all of that through the Google Cloud Platform, which makes sense. That's kind of just having one big billing area. And that's super easy to do. There is a link in the, let's go to the code here. There is a link here. Let me just format this correctly. You go to create a GCP account, and there is a link here to get a free GCP account. Is basically what they offer is 12 months, $300 for free credit for any GCP, so including the the API key, the JavaScript Google Maps API key, and it's always free. I think you have to put a credit card number, but they'll ask you once they start actually ask for taking money off a credit card. But with $300, you have plenty of mileage to go. My advice is, get an account, play around with it, and then turn those things off. I'll show you how to turn the API key off, so like that you don't incur costs. And even if you forget about it, you don't worry about it. Okay, so go to this, create your Google Cloud account. What's going to do is going to bring you to this kind of dashboard looking with whatever the name of your project. Name it the way you want, or I think there's a default project. Either way, you have to have a project, and you have to have billing tied to it. Once you have that, you will, actually the wrong screen here. Let me go back here. Once you have that, I have the screenshots here because I already went through it. You need to go to your API key. So there is a search box here, go API, and it's API and services, and it'll tell you, the kind of APIs you have. Click on enable, and here click Google Maps. And that's how it works. Google Cloud has all sorts of APIs: machine learning, natural language processing, Spark, all sorts of hundreds of APIs. So you go to just put Google Maps, and there's one that's called Maps JavaScript API. That's the one. You click on that, and you need to enable it, and you'll enable it, and you'll have to have a billing account tied to your project, which it should by default. If not, add one. You'll be using your free credits, so no worries there. And it will step you through a few screens. And here I have the screenshots I take. It says basically enable Google Maps. Yes, I went with maps, so you can also do routes, places, so quite a lot of things to explore if you're interested. Then it says enable your API. You go next. So once you have enabled your API key, you will see what you see in the background here. It should give you an API key. It will be a long string of characters, and you can see in the background here, that's where you click on API. So as you imagine, this is what you need to put in your source code in order for people to access, in order for you to have the rights to use Google Maps on your account. So I'm going to show you a few things here. As you imagine, anybody could then, take that API key and use it on their account. So there are ways of protecting yourself. You do not want to do that. We're going to be using this example here. And you'll see here, they show you, we're going to, create this kind of Google map. And here in the source code that we're going to use in a second, it says, you call here HTTP Google APIs.com, blah, 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 and your key here. So this is where you would put that key, but you need to protect it. So we're not going to protect it here because we're going to be using it only locally. But let me briefly go over it because it is important. Once you are ready to kind of, let's say graduate and put it on a real website, this is my key. So you shouldn't be showing your key to people, right? I'm going to delete this after this video, but and I recommend you deleting it after you've trained, so you don't have an old key laying around. Just make sure you only create it once you're ready to go in production mode. Get your landing page out. Get your landing page out, but you can restrict it by a website or an IP address, and this is what I recommend to do. Either one of those. Restrict it. If you have a your own domain name, click there and put the domain name. That means that API key will only work for that domain name, and it's secure. Nobody else can use it, and you're safe, right? That's what you want to do. We're not going to do it here because we're going to only use it locally, and we're not going to bother with it. But make sure you need to restrict it. Don't put that API key out there in the wild. Somebody may take it and then start using it. As you can see, it tracks how many times you use it, and eventually there's a cost. I don't know what the cost is. If you are thinking about using it, definitely look at the fine print to see how much these things cost. We're on our free credits. We're not going to worry about that right now. Okay. So let's keep going. So now we have our API key. Okay, you're ready. You have it somewhere. You have it stored somewhere. We need to go to the code. So the code is super simple. Go to the link here. Right here. Go. Right, we're going to be using a Google sample code. Click on there, and you'll see a pretty cool, very simple web page. Go ahead, copy that entire code, put it in, put it in Sublime or Notepad++, anywhere you want, right? And call it. And this is exactly what I did here. No, that's something I'm going to show afterwards. It's what I showed right here, right? This is my map running right now. So let's have some fun. Once you have it, right, you save it as a .html file. So basically, what I did here, I call it Google Maps, Google-Maps-post.html, and the code is also in the notes right here, right? This is the code I used. You do need to put your API key, so that's one thing you need to replace. And it's going to default to the Australia example here, and we're going to change that right now. So one easy way of getting, of finding, new Google, latitude and longitude to change it. Go ahead, go to Google Maps, go anywhere you want. I'm going to go in New York. Let's scroll all the way to New York here. Where are you? You are right here. Let's go to Central Park. All right, let's say I want my map to show Central Park. Click anywhere you want. And you need to zoom in a bit in order to have a pin. Once you have a pin, right, you will see at the bottom of the screen, hopefully you can see it, there is a latitude and longitude. So try to copy that. It's not easy. There, let me get that pin. I'll get another pin, no big deal. There. And copy that. There. There's a way of doing it. Once you copy it, change the latitude and longitude in your code. So go back to your code, right? Let me bring mine up right here. And let me change this. So there's in the code, there is a place that says ULURU. Change that and copy the new latitude, the new longitude. So here we're going to travel from Barcelona to New York. Save it, right? And then go back to where your map is, right here, and refresh your Google Maps. And now we are here in New York City. Pretty cool. And there's a zoom setting here. Where are you? Right here. Let's say you want to zoom a little closer. Change that zoom setting to, let's say, 12. All right, and it keeps showing it depending on what kind of resolution you want. Let's go 15. There, right? So very easy to use, and this is something you can then embed. You have the code. The code is all here. You have all that code. You can embed it anywhere you want. Don't put the bodies, right? Because that would be embedded into your own account, into your own. Your own landing page code. But everything else you need to put there. And you also need to, make sure you have this, not the style, you need to have the JavaScript here. There is a bunch of scripting that you need, which tells obviously you need all these things, including at the end your API key information. That's stuff that need to move to your new landing page. But basically, super simple way of adding, Google Maps with a pin to your landing page if it's a map specific, and it's fully Ajax enabled, meaning that you're getting all this movement. You can get the different tools that you get with Google Maps for free, basically just by embedding a few lines of code, and then you get it. So super easy. So like I mentioned, one thing you should do is once you've finish playing around, anytime you're playing around with something here in the Google Cloud Platform, anytime you turn an API on, or you spin a new instance, those get expensive, especially like you spin a GPU to do some data science. Make sure you always delete it. So we're here, I want to delete this. Very simple. Yep, delete the credentials. I do not want anymore. And it's going to say add the text delete. Perfect. It was used 6 times last 30 days, and it's going to be gone, right? Because I don't want it, and then it's gone, and that allows you to, to know that you're not going to be accruing any costs down the road. If this is correct, this should not work anymore. So let's go back to our map. And you see, it says, oops, something went wrong. And if you go into, anytime you have something wrong with JavaScript, it's super easy to debug. You go to the developer, you'll have that on Firefox, you'll have that on Chrome, and go to JavaScript console, and it'll tell you what's going on. And it says invalid API key, API error, right? So super easy. I just want to do a quick, very brief rundown on how easy it is to add really cool, powerful, HTML5 code to your landing page if you want to get a map. Very briefly, I'll plug in a few books again, as I like to do on my end of my shows. Monetizing Machine Learning, where I do go through an example, and the example we go through is predicting crime. I think in this book we predict crime using Google Maps and modeling. And also in my Udemy classes, I have one, it's this one, Machine Learning Entrepreneurship, Applied Data Science, and we do earthquake prediction with Google Maps. So we have a Google Maps that where we embed the mapping with Flask to be able to, in this case, you have a slider. I hope you can see the slider, and you choose a date, and it's going to use real earthquake data to predict where there are earthquake pockets. And basically here we are dynamically interacting with Google Maps and passing it latitude and longitude and doing this kind of heat map with colors. So a lot more complicated. This is more of a web application, not past the MVP landing page. But just I wanted to show that is something that you're interested in. You can take this as far as you want. Super powerful tool. Awesome. So thanks for watching. Please give the video some thumbs up.